Good Friday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Here are a few of the stories we have coming up for you tonight. The snow squall that hit the Wenatchee Valley yesterday caused over 45 accidents between the hours of noon and midnight. NCWLIFE's Jefferson Robbins continues his conversation with 7th District State Representative Joel Cretz, and expect dangerously cold wind chills to continue through tomorrow with advisories and warnings all over our area. I'll have more on that coming up in weather. A one-car accident in remote Okanagan County last night claimed the lives of 2 Danville, Washington residents. The accident happened on State Route 20, 6 miles west of Wakanda. The Washington State Patrol reports that at 6:48 p.m., a 2003 Ford F-150 driven by 77-year-old Terry L. Thompson attempted to pass in a no-passing zone in a corner when he lost control, left the roadway, and rolled down an embankment with the pickup coming to rest on its top in a creek. Thompson was declared deceased at the scene, as was his 57-year-old passenger, Raymond S. Thompson. State Patrol says the accident is still under investigation. The snow squall that hit the Wenatchee Valley yesterday caused over 45 accidents between the hours of noon and midnight. Wenatchee police handled 19 accidents, with 21 accidents for East Wenatchee Police and 5 for the Douglas County Sheriff's Office. Only 1 involved serious injuries, as most collisions were slow-speed impact. An Eastmont School District bus and 4 other vehicles slid into each other in the center of the intersection at 3rd Street and Grant Road, causing no injuries. Police briefly closed the uphill section of the intersection to have vehicles towed, and all children were safely put onto another bus and transported home. Many students around north central Washington had school delays and closures this morning. The Eastmont, Eniat, and Mansfield school districts were all delayed by 2 hours. Quincy and Ephrata schools elected to cancel classes for the day, and so did Cascade Christian Academy in Wenatchee. Both the Wenatchee School District and the Wenatchee Valley College campuses remained open and on time. There were also no delays or closures for the Cashmere and Cascade school districts. Several area organizations are opening their doors to people who are in need of a warm space. All North Central Washington library locations will serve as warming centers during their regular hours and are inviting people to stay as long as they're open. The Wenatchee Public Library closes at 6 p.m. tonight, but will remain open tomorrow at 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. and is also open on Sunday from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Meanwhile, the Wenatchee Rescue Mission will stay open 24 hours from today through Sunday and is welcoming donations of blankets, jackets, gloves, socks, and hand warmers. St. Francis House, the overnight low barrier shelter, is not a warming shelter, but will open an hour earlier at 6 p.m. until 9 a.m. for the week. Wenatchee Mayor Mike Poyer chaired his first city council meeting on a snowy Thursday night. It was also the first meeting for newly elected council member Charlie Atkinson. Among other steps, the council approved just over $247,000 from a state grant to purchase a 20-acre parcel for its Foothills Trail system. Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Services Director Dave Erickson told the council it's the final step in a 3-part expansion of the city's Foothills Conservation land.
This project's been underway since before 2020, but it really kicked off in 2020 when we applied for the state grant to help finance the project. The overall project is to acquire 3 different parcels of property, 2 of which we acquired in 2022. What you have tonight is the 3rd piece of the puzzle. So this will wrap up that project with the acquisition. The property itself was appraised at $495,000. The Chelan Land Trust will be providing the bulk of the match for this acquisition. So the city's cost is $247,500. Fortunately, we have $257,325.82 remaining in the grant, plus an additional $10,145.18 in additional match that's in our state match banks.
When we come back, the Chelan City Council will include another familiar face. We'll tell you who coming up. Senator Brad Hawkins was in town today, giving constituents an update on the current legislative session. And police pursuits will once again be a topic discussed by the Washington legislature. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Shoot, I think I left my keys in the kitchen. Can you grab them?
Yep.
Find out?
What's this?
It's a locking bag. It keeps Grandma's medication safe.
But I could just take it.
Well, for one thing, it locks. And if it were gone, I know there's a problem.
Huh. Well played.
Help prevent opioid misuse before it starts. Visit getthefactsrx.com.
Now there are even more reasons to meet at the Pybus Market. Outdoor dining and tastings, the fabulous farmers market, Saturday artisans on the concourse, and your favorites all week long. No matter the reason, it's always time to meet at the Pybus Market. Pybus Market, where community meets.
The Chelan City Council will include another familiar face. Bob Getty, who served multiple terms as mayor or council member for the last 30 years, was reappointed to the council Thursday night. He takes the seat left by newly elected Mayor Aaron McCardle, who defeated Getty's re-election bid in the mayor's race 2 months ago. The council appointed the former mayor out of 8 applicants for that position. The term expires in 2 years, and Getty says he will not seek to serve longer. Senator Brad Hawkins hosted a legislative session preview event earlier today at the new Chelan County PUD Headquarters. Hawkins' presentation included a preview into the new legislative session, information about his team, and a backstory of his journey to become a senator. Hawkins took questions from the audience involving the Confluence Parkway project and affordable housing, and even gave attendees an inside peek to the Capitol building through various photographs. Hawkins said he was pleased with the turnout given the recent snow squall. Joel Cretz is one of 2 state representatives for the 7th District, which now includes most of Douglas County. Like his fellow legislators in that district, he lives in rural Washington, raising quarter horses in northeast Okanagan County. NCWLIFE's Jefferson Robbins asked Cretz how his career as a rancher has influenced his 20 years serving in the state legislature.
You're involved in forest management, land management practices, ranching. That involves thinking about all kinds of elements, like all the way from soil to feed to growth to sunlight. So how does that feed into what you're able to do in the House?
Well, I think it's pretty important. If you look at the makeup of the legislature, there's not a lot of people with that kind of background over here. It's overwhelmingly urban, which, they've got their own set of problems that, they're real, and I try and understand and help them. But a lot of my job has been educating urban legislators. I think maybe the most effective thing has been inviting them over to the ranch, spend a couple days, find out that we're not trying to destroy the environment, we're actually doing the opposite. And it's gotten some understanding. I've got good relationships on both sides of the aisle. My strategy is we don't have to agree on everything. We don't even have to agree on very much, but if we have a few things that we agree on, which is paid off, especially a lot of what I've worked on the last 8 or 10 years has been fire related and forest health, and got a lot of background in that. We burned more ground in those areas, up the east side of the Cascades than anywhere in the country. And have worked with, both sides of the aisle. Larry Springer from Kirkland, of all places, has been a huge help. We passed a big bill here about 3 years ago, put his name on it because that seems to be more successful with Democrats in Olympia. But we got a $250 million bill through that really helped on thinning in the forest health, helped a lot of the fire side. We've got a lot quicker responses now, and we were able to partner with more of the volunteer districts, which are kind of at the core of a lot of the district. They're the first guys out there usually, and they're showing up with, no budget and, maybe trucks from the 70s. And we've been able to upgrade quite a bit of that. And that was just a process of working with urban legislators mostly, and Commissioner of Public Lands, Hillary Franz, has been great. It's been gratifying to see some progress on an issue that was long overdue.
Police pursuits will once again be a topic discussed by the Washington legislature. Yesterday, Secretary of State Steve Hobbs notified lawmakers that he certified Initiative Number 2113, which would restore a police officer's ability to engage in a vehicle pursuit, quote, when there is reasonable suspicion a person has violated the law. Police pursuit laws were first altered in 2021, and officers now can only initiate a pursuit if they suspect a person of certain crimes, like a violent offense or driving under the influence. Going forward, the legislature may approve the initiative or send it to voters to decide in the next general election. If lawmakers take no action by March 7th, the initiative will go to ballots. Coming up next, we will tell you how Alethea Therapeutic Riding Center will extend its services to local veterans in tonight's feature story. Dangerous wind chills in the forecast for all of north central Washington into Sunday morning. I'll have all the details coming up in your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come tonight. Please stay with us.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
In Digital Media Arts program, we learn about video production gear and editing by the combination of class projects and nonprofit work and employment.
It makes things happen.
Yeah.
It's pretty magical.
We work in the industry at the Wenatchee Valley, NCWLIFE channel, and the Town Toyota Center events. Every day we work with industry standard equipment for a hands-on learning experience.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. For more than 12 years, Alethea Therapeutic Riding Center has been a welcoming place for people with physical and developmental challenges who benefit from riding and working with horses. Later this month, it will extend those services to some local veterans. In tonight's feature story, Jim Cook, an Army veteran and coordinator at Alethea, spoke with NCWLIFE's Dan Kuntz about what's in store.
So at the end of the month, the 26th, 27th, 28th, we're going to have 12 couples. We're hoping to get couples, but we're having 12 veterans that is sponsored by Washington State WDVA to come out through the Staff Sergeant Fox program, to come out for an immersion weekend, to go through every kind of different exercise that we have, that we offer through the equine and EGALA therapy, but also some of the community is going to come up. Some of the community in town that offers services to vets is going to be here as well, on the ground with us, with the horses and with the participants. And hopefully we're getting them from all 4 counties that Alethea is a part of. So that's going to be a great event later this month. I never worked with horses. I've never owned a horse, barely ever rode a horse. But when I found the opportunity to connect with a horse through a couple of events through the military, and then one when I was out, I knew it was something that I wanted to do and see the difference of veterans that are either struggling or just dealing with stuff to come up and actually try something different rather than a talk therapy, because we all do talk therapy, but this is something different that connects in a different way. When a veteran comes in and is not feeling the best that day, the horse is able to make a connection and have either that person or that group of people realize that making each other safe and making each other feel comfortable is all that it really matters. And once you feel comfortable, your brain starts thinking the right way, your body starts reacting the right way, and the horses do that. They're 2,000 pounds of pure awesomeness that help you connect.
When you told your wife I'm going to go to work for Nancy up here after serving my country and doing it so well, did she think maybe you lost your noodle just a little bit?
Yeah, she was, yes.
Speculating.
Yeah, nope, you're right. She was concerned that I didn't have any horse experience. I actually was very afraid of horses when I first started. There's a couple in here that are pretty big and bigger than me, and so after seeing how Nancy interacts with them, seeing how the staff and everybody here goes through the programs with both the veterans and the others that come up, it really kind of calmed me down, and I was able to stand in the arena with 13 horses and not be scared and not be worried about what's going to happen. And I think that is where I told my wife it is amazing the connections that I have, and she's happy that I took this route instead of a desk or something like that.
Time now for a check of your north central Washington weather forecast. And man, what a 24 hours we have had here in the Wenatchee Valley. We had that snow squall that moved in, which is really a frontal system, that Arctic cold overriding the warm air we had in place, and then just a little bit of Pacific moisture from an area of low pressure. All of those ingredients. We had 4 inches of snow in about an hour and a half here in the Wenatchee area yesterday. So a very unusual event. A lot calmer today, but a lot colder too. This is a shot up at Lake Wenatchee. Beautiful shot of the lake and some of the snow that was picked up there overnight. Lots of snow around our region, generally about 6 to 8 inches in the Wenatchee Valley. That's been the predominant number that I've seen today. So a good snow event, and that was mostly just yesterday afternoon into last evening. Talk about an event. This is Lake Chalan about 11 o'clock this morning. Notice the rippling in the lake. That's wind that's rushing across the lake. And notice right here in our highlighted area, this is actually an underwater cyclone. Notice the clockwise rotation. Normally a tornado or even a typhoon may be counterclockwise, but this a very, very unusual sight. And good job by Tucker and Malcolm picking that up this morning on Lake Chelan. Just a weird weather pattern we're in right now. Dangerous wind chills. They came in last night, and that's going to continue right into early Sunday. Hypothermia, frostbite is likely if you are outdoors. That's any exposed skin. And before extreme cold, adjust your schedule and make sure you protect those pets. Get them inside, because this isn't going anywhere for about the next 3 or 4 days or so. In fact, we have watches, advisories and warnings all over our area. Here is Chelan County. That is a wind chill advisory, the blue or gray color. These are wind chill warnings, folks, and that includes Okanagan and most of Douglas County. The warning areas, we could see wind chills between 20 and 30 below, maybe higher. And in the advisory areas for Chelan and parts of Grant County, that is wind chills generally between 10 below and 20 below. So it is going to be very cold. We'll get you to that forecast in a second. How about this? 3 degrees our afternoon high temperature today. It actually happened at about 11 o'clock this morning. 33 is where we should be. So 30 degrees below our normal high temperature. 53 our record, and that was set in 1999. We started off the day at 1 degree, and that's pretty much where we've been throughout the afternoon. 24 is our normal low, and our record low, we weren't too far off, 2 below zero, and that was set in 2017. We did pick up 3/100ths of an inch of precipitation. That's it out of that 6 to 8 inches of snow. It now gets us to a little over 1/4 of an inch of precipitation. And boy, our snowfall jumped up about 7 inches is what I figured. So 15 inches of snow now in our area since going back to October 1st. Sunrise 7:45. Sun sets this afternoon at 4:33. All right, taking a look at tomorrow's high temperatures. Can you believe it? These are high temperatures. 8, the warm spots in Moses Lake and Ephrata. 6 degrees in Quincy. Only 4 for Wenatchee. 3 in Entiat. 4 for Chelan. Cold spot Lake Wenatchee tomorrow. Your high temperature will be a big fat 2 degrees. Taking a look at tonight now, we expect mostly clear skies, and that's going to be cold here at home. We will see low temperatures around 2 degrees, and that goes for almost all of Washington State, all the way over into western Montana. 30 below for Great Falls, Montana tonight. On Saturday, partly cloudy skies. There is an area of low pressure that's trying to push in, but boy, this cold air is seeped all the way down into northern Texas. It will block most of whatever that area of low pressure has, so not much to worry about there. Mostly sunny on Sunday then to end our weekend. This is where we will see a slow warm up into the afternoon, mid-teens for highs, if you can call it highs, getting into Sunday afternoon. And then for a lot of you, you have a holiday on Monday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We'll see some high clouds out there. Still going to be cold, though, with temperatures well below normal into the upper teens. And then things will moderate as we get into the middle of our week. Mostly cloudy on Tuesday, but look what comes on shore. Another area of low pressure. Not much happening during the day, but as we get into our evening hours, you're going to run into some snowy travel conditions on Tuesday. High temperatures back to about 20 degrees. For Wednesday, we'll see some morning snow as that low pushes east. Not too much activity in the afternoon for your afternoon commute. High temperatures on Wednesday in the mid to upper 20s. And then for Thursday, look at the size. Here's an area of low pressure and another one to its south. That is going to push on shore during the day on Thursday. We're looking at a 70% chance of evening snow again on Thursday. The good news is we are going to warm up. High temperatures at the end of our forecast, right around 30 degrees. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast now. And tonight, as we mentioned, 2 degrees for our overnight low. We're hoping for 4 tomorrow, 3 the overnight low tomorrow night. I think the wind chills will really be in effect on Saturday, so be really careful out there. Mostly sunny Sunday and 14. And here's where we begin to see a slow warm up. 18 on Martin Luther King Jr. Day with some high clouds. And then back to some snow. Evening snow for Tuesday, morning snow on Wednesday. And then once again, evening snow is expected on Thursday night. Mostly cloudy skies with a high temperature then of 30 degrees. And that's a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
First, Pete Carroll, now Kalen DeBoer. We learned the Seahawks would be moving away from Pete Carroll as head coach on Tuesday. Now today, we learned Kalen DeBoer will be leaving the University of Washington to take the coaching job at Alabama. Nick Saban announced his retirement earlier this week. DeBoer led Washington to the national championship game Monday in only his second year in Washington. Several key players from the Husky program are now entering the NFL draft, and others are entering the transfer portal with the news of DeBoer's departure from Washington. Overshadowed by the coaching news in Seattle this week has been the play of the Seattle Kraken. Seattle tied a franchise record with its 8th straight win last night with a 4-1 decision at Washington. Joey Decord continued his incredible play, stopping 25 of 26 shots he faced.
Connor McMichael. Anthony Mantha, the skate of McMichael. Fan down, and now a turnover. McMichael stopped by Decord a couple of times in tight. By Adam Larson, a spring pass. Jared McCann through the middle to the outside. Cartier, his shot, scores! Ty Cartier with a bullet. 11:10 left to go in the opening period. The Kraken off and running. Evgeny Kuznetsov, a stretch pass. Short hops by Decord. Look out, Oshie. What a stop again. Joey Decord. Wenberg through center with a shot. They score! Alexander Wenberg. He'll keep his ball rolling right along. $1:48 left to go in this first period. And Riemsdyk for Ovechkin. To the slot, Strome. Pacioretty scores! Max Pacioretty has his first goal as a Washington Capital.
I'm just speaking from experience. Something must have happened a little bit earlier in this game for McCann to go ahead and take a real solid piece of.
Johnny Gord, they score! Justin Schultz on the follow-up. Jensen goes up on the rush from his defense position. Now it's carried out by Larson. Moved along for Tanev. Larson right in. What a goal! Hey, what do you say? Big Cat, Adam Larson. That's Kraken hockey, baby. They surround Joey Decord tonight. It's a 4-1 win over the Washington Capitals.
Decord was asked if the winning streak is a result of changes the Kraken have made in their game plan.
Not necessarily. I think our blueprint's always been there. We're just executing it better, and I think we're just working our ass off. You know, it's really fun to watch. Even I think the last shift of the game when it was 4-1 and there was a minute or two left just epitomizes our group. And I think it was Gordo's line with Gordo, Tolvi, and Bjorky, and they just hemmed him in the whole shift. And there's a minute left. It's 4-1. Like, they could have just dumped it in and got off, and they just kept working and working and working. And that's indicative of the the culture and the work ethic of our group. So that was a lot of fun to see that.
Our game got better as the game went along. The pace of our game, which helped us really become better defensively. In the first period, a lot of the opportunities that they had came off of our tape. And that's what they do. They capitalize on mistakes to put you under a little bit of pressure. Our game got better. We got cleaner with the puck. The pace of our game and the way we checked, improved throughout the game. We got a great save at the right time, and we had a number of guys contributing on the offensive side of the sheet. So that's been the formula. I still maintain the defensive side of our game is what's most important. Everything starts off of that. Even look at some of the offense that we generated tonight. A lot of that comes out of our D zone and how we get up ice, and then it comes down to individual plays and ability on the guys' part.
Seattle continues their 6-game road trip in Columbus tomorrow at 4 o'clock on Root Sports Northwest. Well, a troublesome season continues for the Gonzaga men's basketball team. The unranked Santa Clara team made a last-minute bucket to knock off the 23rd rated Bulldogs last night in California.
First one no good. He missed the front end. Santa Clara could win it with a basket. Ball, drives, ball, good! With the foul! Ball didn't make it. Watson. 2 seconds. Watson had nowhere to go with the ball. He threw it away.
Washington beat Arizona State last night 82-67 behind the 24 points from Xavier Wheeler and 22 from Keon Brooks. WSU was hosting 8th-ranked Arizona today in Pullman. Washington visits UCLA tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock. That'll be on the Pac-12 network. Eastern Washington visits Idaho at 4 on ESPN+. Gonzaga women were able to defend the home court last night, downing Santa Clara 87-49. On the women's schedule tomorrow, Eastern Washington visits Idaho at 1. Gonzaga hosts San Diego at 2. Both those games are available on ESPN+. Washington State plays at Washington Sunday at noon. Well, the wild card round of the NFL playoffs will be played over the next 3 days, starting tomorrow. The Browns visit the Texans at 1:30 on NBC. Kansas City hosts Miami at 5 on the Peacock Network. Sunday's 3-game schedule starts at 10 a.m. on CBS with Buffalo hosting Pittsburgh. Green Bay visits Dallas at 1:30 on Fox. The Rams play the Lions in Detroit at 5 on NBC. Wildcard weekend wraps up Monday at 5 on ESPN with Philadelphia playing at Tampa Bay. There's a whole slew of things on the local schedule and what happened last night. We have that on our website at NCWLIFE.com. That's sports news. Stay warm this weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
And that will do it for our newscast tonight. For more news from around North Central Washington, you can find us at NCWLIFE.com, on our social media channels, or on our mobile app for iPhone and Android. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. Email us at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks so much for being with us. Be safe and have a great weekend.